Welcome to the IDP Hunter podcast off the RPO network. I'm your host, Steve Hungarter. I'm a writer over at the Fantasy Six Pack. I'm also a writer over at RPO Football, and I'm a writer over at the IDP Center. Currently, I am a contestant in the Fantasy Pros ECR rankings, and currently this week, I am the number 3 ranker on the week, right behind Ryan Sitzman and Master IDP. We know him as Leo. My co-host of this show is Jamie Perogue. He also writes over at the Fantasy Six Pack, as well as does two podcasts a week, the Going for Two Start Sit, as well as the Going for Two live Sunday show, correct? How you doing, Jamie?
Tuesday night cheat sheet every Tuesday, and then Start Sit show every Sunday morning to get you ready for your lineups.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm excited to cut this up. I'm excited to talk about Turkey Day tomorrow. We got 4 games coming up. Plus, don't forget the Friday game. Everybody forgets the Friday game, right? We got a little special guest tonight. We know him as Patrick. You guys know him as Tacklebox. You know me, I'm a military guy. I like to pump the accolades, the awards, all the decorations on our chest. Let me tell you about Patrick before he comes on, okay? Tacklebox Props over there on Twitter. He's the director of betting operations over at RPO Football, so he knows Leo really well. I'm so excited to get him on. Jamie, this guy has an 80.8. You might as well just say round it up, 81. Let's bump it up a notch. 81% win rate on these bets this year.
That's awesome, man. I need to start tailing those so I can win some money.
Everybody that I know, and especially in IDP community, it's hit or miss. And, I will dabble, partake, but I'm no betting expert either. But everyone that I know, they're saying if you do 50 or higher, you're doing pretty well. But this guy's an 81% batting average.
Well, kind of, yeah. We dipped down a little below 80 this week, but we're real close. If you round up, we're there.
Hey, rounded up's fine. That's how I graduated school, right?
Right.
But anyway, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy to finally be on the show. It's been a long time coming, but finally picked a day that could work.
We've been talking a while getting you on, and it's just so neat that we were able to get you on for this Thanksgiving special. So we're kind of rewarding the RPO football people that have paid memberships. We're also rewarding the YouTube family. This show's also going to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's going to be on iHeartRadio as well. If you don't mind, Patrick, I just want to give you a proper introduction here. What is it you do as far as the director of betting operations at RPO Football? And more specifically, Patrick, what can our audience find over at RPO Football if they subscribe and join as a member?
Yeah, so I guess for me personally, what I do pretty much is post my picks that I'm betting on every week in the RPO Discord. It's usually around 5 picks per week, but give or take, kind of depends how many games there are and I guess how many picks I actually like. You can expect me to be pretty active in the Discord throughout the week as well. There's a bunch of people that like to ask me questions in there, and I always try to find time to answer those, whether it's betting or fantasy. There's also a fantasy portion in the Discord where you can ask start, sit, trade advice, any of that kind of stuff. And then
also they're doing a promo code over there, Jamie. If you type in Hunter, you get a free $10 off full season access over at RPO. Jamie does a lot of pods with me over there too, Patrick, and I'll kick it over there to Jamie. Award-winning rankings. Leo's the number 1 guy. I'm in the top 4. Mace is the top 15 self. You're betting. We have an every down linebacker. We have waivers. We have articles. We have that Discord where me and Tacklebox over here, we talk a lot. What were you going to say, Jamie?
No, I was just saying there's someone in the chat. Just wanted to say what's up to them.
Oh, gotcha. Again, use promo code Hunter for $10 off full season access. Again, over there at the RPO. Sorry, I was on another screen there. Question for you, Pat. We brought up the Discord. Okay, we were talking about the Discord and everything. We were having this conversation offline. You're having a strong season. How long have you been betting now?
Well, I've actually been betting for 20 plus years. You know, I had my bookie in high school. But really, I was never really a winning bettor back then. And I've kind of learned the tough way. And now, after playing IDP, and then when betting became legal in my state, which was, I don't know, 2020, 2021, and I found these tackle props, I started winning a lot. And then I decided to start posting them on Twitter, and I just continued to win with them. So here we are.
So professionally, what, a couple of years now, right?
Yeah, 2 years I've been getting paid for it.
Yeah, I thought so. You kind of came up out of nowhere in 2023. So do you know what your overall record is?
Yeah, I started posting on Twitter, just only Twitter plays for free in 2022. And last year when I was in the RPO Discord, and then I also was doing some work for the 33rd team in their Discord, my record was 75 wins, 31 losses on the year. Jeez. So 70.8% win percentage.
Jamie, do you hear this? We got the Vince Lombardi of betting on the show, and I'm over here yakking. Shout out to ASDF JKL who says I'm here. Well, Elemental P to you too, my friend.
Yeah, okay. Any questions, throw them in the chat. We got you covered.
In the chat. Bring your questions in. I see we have a big audience pending. It's kind of hard to read behind the StreamYard, but yeah, just go ahead. You got questions, throw them in. We'll jump in there. Again, we're here with you. You know, as long as you guys want to be here, we got a lot of games to cover. One more question for you before we get to that, Patrick. We were talking offline a little bit. We were talking about you have a program, a model. You have something. I like that kind of analytics. I like that nerd talk. Maybe the audience don't, but I don't know. We'll be the judge of it. What is your process to these bets? How are you so accurate when the rest of the industry isn't?
Yeah, so I guess my process is quite a bit more than just running my model every week and tailing it blindly. That said, the model on its own does pretty well so far this year. Since I started tracking it, it's been about 65% win percentage for the model. And then I think that's kind of just the starting point. I run that every week and use that as a starting point, and then I kind of dig into some of the plays that it likes more than others. I think I've been lucky enough to win over 70% for, going on 3 years now, because I spend a lot of time digging into other things. Like every single week, Tuesday morning rolls around and I dig into snap counts. I go through every single team. What are the snap counts for these players? What are injuries? Stuff like that. Then I dig into my weekly reports that I run, which tell me, what teams are allowing tackles, the most tackles to certain positions and the least tackles for if you're going unders. And then also like how many times certain positions have gone over certain lines against that team on the year. And then I look at some other things, some more deep dive stuff like stat crew information, which stat crews are generous in handing out tackles for each opportunity, which ones are stingy. It doesn't make a huge difference, but you got to try to get every advantage that you can when you're trying to beat the books. And I honestly, I'll pull it up here, but from the most generous stat crew to the most stingy stat crew, you're talking about 0.16, 0.17 tackles per opportunity. And if you have 50 opportunities in a game to make a tackle, that's a difference of 9 tackles in a game that stat crews are handing out. So,
what's funny that you just said? I used to do a ranking show on a different network, and that's how I rank. I take all the projections plus the anticipated snaps, and I add them all up, and I go through, I'll do it on a weekend, or especially the off season. That's where my game is. But, one little thing can just wrecking ball can change all of that. One wrecking ball, one little thing can change it. A guy all of a sudden starts playing a different position, what have you. I was just seeing if if it's more, is it more, hand to writing pen paper, or is it more like, a program at, Excel sheet format kind of thing,
I write my notes every week. Right. I need to write them down to ingrain it into my head. Otherwise I'll forget them. So yeah, every week, pen to paper, I write down all my notes for every single team.
Gotcha. Hey, we got a couple questions in the chat here. Just try to hit some of these here. Start to Foyer, Cashman, Jewell, Jerome Baker, rest of the season. I'll kick it off to all you guys. I'm going to say real quick, looking at it, if it was for me, I'm going to say Foyer and Cashman. Those are my two. Be mindful of Foyer, because I was just saying this. Foyer isn't your typical inside guy anymore. They put him, I just wrote an article on this, like 16, 18% on the edge now. So what does that do? That lowers his tackle efficiency. The average inside linebacker, you're getting 13% tackle efficiency. You move out the edge, you know what the average is there? Anybody want to guess? Bueller?
6 or 7%.
My man, it's 5.8%. So you're going from 13 to 5. Foyer, he's still getting 100% snaps. He's still getting the tackles, but you're going to see those misses as we go. And sure as heck, he has a couple on a season. But Cashman 1, Foyer 2. Jerome Baker, I don't know. I can't call it. He came in last week, 3 tackles. I'm not that impressed. I am not that impressed. So I am those are my 2. You guys see it any other way?
No.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, man. Baker, I mean, he seems like a journeyman from this point on.
Yeah, he's getting passed around from team to team now.
Now, here's an interesting one, too. Which DB you want, Nubin or Blankenship? I do this funny article I just started doing halfway through the season for Joe Bond. It's called, it's for defensive backs and all the box snaps. So, guys, check that over at the Fancy Six Pack. Joe's doing a promo right now, 48% off Black Friday special. So check Joe out, the 6-pack I write. This is an interesting one, and I'm going to explain this too. And it's so funny you guys asked 2 questions because the data's shifting. With Nubin, the first 6 games of the season, he played a lot of free snaps, okay? I had this written down earlier too. But 18 box snaps throughout the year for the first 6 games. Not really doing a whole lot with the box. Well, after that, from week 7 all the way to now, plus there's a bye week, so he only has 5 games. He's been hitting the box nonstop, man. He's been averaging 30-plus box snaps a game. So if he continues that pace, consider Nubin, rookie Nubin of the Giants, consider him a tier 1 prospect moving forward. I'm really excited about Nubin. You guys see it any other way?
No, I agree. Like Blankenship, he's only had double-digit tackles twice. One was in the beginning of the year. Nubin had more than 10 tackles the past 2 weeks. So I'm going to go with Nubin. Go with the hot hand.
Heck yeah. We're getting some good questions here. What do you say, Pat?
I totally agree. I actually own both of them in a league, and I was starting both of them, but I traded for Budda Baker so I can not start Blankenship anymore. He just plays too deep. And not only the box snaps recently that you talked about for Nubin, it's not a lot more, but he is also getting about 5 more snaps per game in the slot than he was too. So add that in on top of the box snaps, and he's playing a pretty good role right now.
That's why I asked the question to you, because I'm like, when I'm looking at stuff and I can have it down pat, and then the season starts, and then all of a sudden they start switching guys around, then it's back to the drawing board. But yeah, the Nubin trend is exciting. So I'm trying to pick him up a lot of places. Blankenship's okay, but when the linebacker core kind of tightened up, so did his value a little bit. Of course, when you don't have linebackers doing that good, Jamie, the safeties are going to eat. When the linebacker core shores up, then not so much. Then we have these problems here. Okay, so we all see it the same way. How about this one? Summer asks, she needs a DB. Need to pick one: Taron Johnson, Holland, Evan Williams, or Kobe Bryant. the football player, not the basketball player. Rest in peace. So out of these four, do you guys have a preference? They're all sort of deep punts, but do you like a guy better than somebody else?
Kerryon Johnson and Holland. It's got to be between one of those. I'm guessing you're going to get about 5-6 tackles out of each of them.
Yeah, I probably like Taron Johnson the most here.
Yeah, I mean, I think he got a sack a couple weeks ago. Probably plays the box more.
Yeah, Javon Holland, however you say his name, has not. I mean, he plays fairly deep, and I don't even think he's cleared more than 5 tackles maybe once all year. So I think you're just hoping for a big play there. And then Evan Williams, if I am not mistaken, only played 75% of the snaps last game. So it's tough to start a DB when you're playing 3/4 of the snaps.
And also, Johnson's going against probably Joshua Dobbs. I don't know who's going to be starting for San Fran.
Yeah, Purdy has a chance to make it back, but they said he threw like 1 pass in practice today. I saw. So
Summer, this is an excellent question, and I'm not familiar with your name in the chat. So, please subscribe to the channel, check our workout. Please ask your questions. These are great. This is a classic example of things moving around, because if you had asked me in the offseason, I had Holland maybe early tier 2, back tier 1. You know what I have him ranked right now? I have him 60, DB 60. He's gone. His usage is not the same anymore. The two that I'd be interested in here, the two that I would tell you to play is Taron Johnson or Evan Williams. Now, if this was 1995, where everybody faded cornerbacks, I'd be like, screw Taron Johnson. No, Taron Johnson's probably the right answer. He puts up DB2 value all the time, despite being a corner. And it's because they play him on that edge. He makes quite a bit of tackles, as you guys were saying. So I think if you were to all things even, apropos of nothing, I would take Taron Johnson as my start over all of those other 4.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning. And you know what's good about RPO Network? You guys have the number 1 overall IDP ranker and a top 5 in Steve, the IDP hunter. So all you got to do is go to their rankings and see which one's higher. Start that guy, because I trust the RPO, especially for IDP.
Yeah, I quit putting my rankings out here because just like we were talking earlier, I mean, there's so many imitations. There's a lot of, I'm not saying cheating, but there's a lot of copycatting in the league. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, I don't play that corner. Why are you not playing the corner? I don't play this guy because of snap. So the new sauce to me is snap count and where they're playing. If you're playing a slot position like Nubin was, and you're also playing box, like Nubin's total priority snaps is over 70%. And all the good stuff that I want. Josh Metellus is another one. People are fading him and dropping him everywhere because the snaps went. But look at the snaps he's playing. He's playing DL and he's playing box. So if you're playing 70% like that, theoretically, you're a defensive lineman I can use as a defensive back. So it's all context matters.
On top of that,
one more here.
Oh, good.
Uh-huh.
I was going to say, on top of that, for Metellus, now Ivan Pace is on IR. There's a chance he might even get more box snaps.
I forgot about old Ivan. Dotson. All right, Jamie, I can't read that one. I'm going blind. What does it say?
Which one is this? Quick IDP question. Would you play Therese Knight and Terrell Dotson over Bolton and Levante this week?
That's interesting.
With Bolton and Levante recently. Yeah, I agree. It is. Bolton.
I have a take. I just want to see what you guys say.
I expected him to be top 10, man. I don't know. It's been frustrating.
I have 0 shares of Bolton, and if I did, I would not be starting him.
He's putting up LB3 numbers right now. I'll tell you what, as a dynasty stash, I may be interested in Leo Chanel because Bolton's probably going to go to some jackass owner somewhere that doesn't know and he recognizes the name. So he may be out the door next year. But yeah, Bolton's probably the last one on that list. So I guess the answer to this question, who would I play between Knight, Dotson, Bolton, David? I like David over those guys still. It's closer between Knight and Dotson. However, I think the obvious choice here to me would be Dotson. When Dotson took Anthony Walker's role last week, it was serendipity. It was a little luck because Walker got hurt. But it's only a matter of time he was taking that anyway. And he jumped right in there. And guess what? It's a short week again. That's how I got it. I got Dotson taking that spot and being in every down now. I think we answered all these, my friend. Pretty close together, pretty similar in nature. Pat, one more question for you here. Do you find yourself being a good ranker, correlating that with your bets, or vice versa, or do you think the two worlds don't really combine?
Oh, you keep me away from ranking. I don't rank anybody.
Okay. Yeah, that's funny, man. Hey, Jamie, streamers this week.
I could try it to see, but I don't know. I don't have the time for it.
I was talking to my buddy, Johnny freaking Fantasy offline too. We were talking, he does the bets as well. He's been on my show. We were talking online and I'm like, dude, I could rank. I don't know if I can bet. You're the opposite. You can bet. Not sure if you can rank. Because I mean, I can tell you Bolton's better than this guy now, but I don't know exactly how many over and under tackles they're going to pan out. So it's maddening to me. Jamie, we're going to skip the streaming because guess what? This week's kind of poor anyway. Let's get into these bets. However you guys want to go, head to head, game to game, however you want to do it. Let's just kick it off. What are you guys feeling?
Let's do game by game, man. I mean, while the turkey's getting stuffed, let's who gets roasted on the field.
All right, go for it. What you got, Pat?
Yeah. So
did you want to start with the Cowboys Giants?
No. We'll start with the early game.
All right. Let's do that.
And honestly, there's not much in the early game that I like, but I will talk about a few things that I noticed. The Bears are 19th in tackles allowed to linebackers this year at 16.9 per game. But I wrote it down here. Chicago started off the year as a pretty good matchup. Since their week 7 bye, they have actually only allowed 12.6 tackles per game to all opposing linebackers, which would actually rank them last in the league. And they have not allowed a single linebacker to go over 8.5 tackles in that period. And Jack Campbell's line is sitting at 8.5. So it makes me kind of lean towards Jack Campbell's under. But my model also has him projected for 8.4 tackles. So it's pretty close to the line. So it's probably a pass for me. The other one that I looked at in this game, and I kind of like it still, is Jonathan Owens over 5.5. Think the Bears defense could be on the field quite often against the Lions. And Owens he played full-time last week with Elijah Hicks out and Brisker's on IR still. So I would assume Owens will be in a full-time role again this week. And he, I believe, had like 22, 25 box snaps last game. It was a little less than what Kevin Byard was, but Byard is also set at 8.5 tackles, which is awfully high for a safety. And I can't bring myself to taking the over on that. So I would lean towards Jonathan Owens over, but it's also heavily juiced. So that's it. I think last I looked, it was minus 165 on Bet365. So that's probably enough for me to pass on it. What do you got for this one, Jamie?
I got a defensive question for you. What do you think about a Montez Sweat sack? It's at plus 170.
Ooh, Jamie with the hard questions.
Plus 170?
Last I looked, it was plus 160 for the Montez sack. So I don't know. I'm thinking about putting a few dollars on it.
Let me look here. I don't do a lot of sack props. I leave that to my buddy Pedro at RPO.
You're looking, we got a Logan Wilson or Henley question. Did we answer that yet?
Well, what was the question? I didn't even see it. Go ahead, Jamie. What you got?
New Japan Studies. He's asking Logan Wilson or Henley this week.
New Japan Studies. What a handle. Yeah. Just don't drop an atomic bomb on us if we get it wrong, okay? New Japan Studies. I'm going to tell you who I like, and I'll let them guy. You know what? It's honestly dealer's choice at this point, but honestly, I got Wilson a little bit higher in the ranks, but I'm going Henley. I like Henley. I like what he's doing. He's the only linebacker there that actually is worth the darn. I expect him to make big plays. I expect him to be on the field a little bit more. So this is one of those things, my body's telling me Logan Wilson, but my gut is telling me Henley. I'm going to go Henley here. And again, I think either one is okay. What do you guys got any thoughts on that? Any dogs in that race?
I mean, it's hard to sit Logan Wilson. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go Logan.
So what's interesting about that? It's hard to sit Logan Wilson. Pratt's been the one that's been getting a lot more of the volume. So you would think it's Logan Wilson, JLB1 dog. It really isn't. It's been shared. The argument for Henley. Again, I have Wilson ranked higher for some reason, but the argument for Henley is he's the only one that's going to be getting all of that share. So, like I said, my mind is telling me Wilson, but my body's telling me Henley, or however the song goes. Pat, you got any dogs in that race?
Wilson's got the, I guess, slightly better matchup if you're just going off of tackles per game. But, I mean, the Chiefs and the Steelers both allow similar tackle rates to linebackers. So I think, like you said, it's a toss-up. Henley's been hot. I might just ride the hot hand, but I don't think you can go wrong with either.
Okay, we got another one here from Lollygagger, 1984. I guess he wants one more from his DLs. Cansey, Keon White, Hines Allen. I thought it said Zach Allen for a minute. The answer is either Allen to me. I would go either one of those guys over the other two. Nothing wrong with Cansey. I mean, he's getting the snaps, but, I play Cansey in deeper stuff. Keon White was hot in the beginning of the year, not so much now. With DLs, you got to play the hot hand with them. As you said, that sack thing is so fluky. You guys see it any other way?
I see the Hines Allen. It's got to be.
For sure. Against the Titans, who have given up the most sacks to edge rushers on the year. Got to be Hines
There you
Allen.
go.
All right. I'll go over my props. We're on the Bears and Lions, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to take the Lions minus 9.5. It's hard to keep up with the Lions. Their offense is just way too good. I'm going to take Montgomery over 54.5 rushing yards and an anytime touchdown. I mean, they've been playing. They're going to be playing with a lead, right? So that means they're probably going to run more. And you got that revenge game factor with Montgomery, which some people put too much thought into it. Some people underthink it. I just think he's going to get that touchdown. I don't even mind putting some money on Monty as the first touchdown of the game. We got a double revenge factor with DeAndre Swift, man. I don't like his lines. I don't think he's going to do that great, but I am taking the over on 14.5 receiving yards. He hit that mark 7 out of 11 times this year. The Lions are allowing 23.6 receiving yards per game to receive to the running backs. And if you do want to take his rushing, just take the 40-plus alternate. I don't see him getting much more of 40. The Lions usually give up around 68 rushing yards per game. And then you got to factor in Roschon Johnson. He's getting 40% of the snaps. So I would just take the 40-plus. And final one on that, I do like Odunze. He's seen 10 targets the last 2 games each week. His line's only 44.5 yards. Just give me that all day. If he's getting 10 targets, even if he's catching half of them, he's going to hit over 44.5.
I like the Odunze call too. Since the Bears fired their offensive coordinator, the last 2 weeks they've actually run three or more wide receivers 12% more than what they had prior to that. I noticed that. So Odunze has been on the field quite a bit more, getting the targets. And then
I wouldn't mind taking 4.5 receptions over for Odunze because he's hit that 3 out of the past 4 weeks. He's seen 5 or more receptions. So especially DJ Moore is going to be seeing the elite coverage. So that's going to let Odunze get away with more targets. So I like this matchup.
Lions secondary is banged up quite a bit too. Carlton. I mean, not that Adunze would line up across from Carlton Davis a whole lot, but he's going to be out. And Marion Arnold's been banged up too, but I think he's going to play.
I did an article recently this week. The Lions play the most man out of every team out there that you could think of. I mean, they play a lot of, and that's what their defensive coordinator wants to do, Aaron Glenn. He's all about man coverage, those safeties playing it deep. Branch, he more historically is your slot free. And then, Joseph, Joseph, he's more of your free kind of in the box, but they don't really do not so much. They kind of rotate the box. So they're going to be back there. You said the safeties are backed up. I think you can air it out here. Mm-hmm. Good call.
All right. On to the next game.
Yes, please.
What you got? Oh, wait. Before we do that, did you look up the Montez Sweat?
Oh, yeah.
I'm so interested.
The Lions give up. Yeah, and I just had it before. Where are they now? How can I not find the lines? Oh, there. I'm looking in the wrong spot. The Lions only give up the 23rd most sacks to edge rushers on the year. So, and in the last four games, they've only allowed 2 sacks to edge. So it's going to be tough, but
maybe I'll skip that.
Plus 160. I don't know. Montez Sweat's kind of had a down year too, but it is Thanksgiving. Weird stuff happens.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that the truth? Some of the craziest games I could remember are Thanksgiving games.
Right.
So what's the next game? Is that the Giants Cowboys?
Giants Cowboys, yeah.
How about them boys?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're on a roll.
Well, didn't they win on Thanksgiving last year and the year before, right?
I believe they have, yes.
Yeah, I believe 2 years ago they actually beat the Giants.
They better not lose to Drew Lock, so we'll see. But for this one, this one has for tomorrow my model's favorite play, which is I'm just kidding. Used to be my model's favorite play, but the books brought up another line for the next game. But a play that my model really likes is Micah McFadden over 6.5 tackles. Last I checked, it was minus 105 on MGM, but it was minus like 140 on Bet365 and minus 135 on DraftKings. So a pretty good price at MGM. And I mean, McFadden's been a tackle machine when he's on the field. The only issue with him is he only plays 75% of the snaps, 80% of the snaps. But Dallas has also been a pretty good matchup. For linebackers, they've given up the 9th most tackles in the league at 18.2 per game. And in the last 4 weeks, since Cooper Rush took over, they've given up 23, 17, 23, and 16 tackles to opposing linebackers. So, and to me, it seems like Bobby's kind of lost a step this year. So Mike has been eaten when he's on the field. And then another one that interested me, but the line moved before we got on here to do the live, was I was thinking about going with Overshown over 6.5 because Kendricks was 3 straight DNPs this week, but it bumped to 7.5, and I don't know if I have the confidence in him to get to 8.
Hey, is there a trick to when the line moves? Is there historically, is there certain times when it moves or it's just sporadic? Do you have any tricks that you do to kind of get on the radar? Is that stuff that low key you can't really discuss? Is like FBI secret security stuff?
No, there's no tricks. The lines move when I post a play though. So
yeah.
But
there's a couple other person in the chat said the same thing you said. They give up the tackles, the Cowboys. So spot on if you are making those bets.
I like it.
Last time I checked, we have over 500 people in this chat back and forth watching on again, off again. It's hard to get the numbers, but for those people that are in the chat, I just want to say thank you. But also, I can't believe those numbers, so I'll have to see afterwards. But also the people in the chat, I'm sorry, it's Thanksgiving weekend. Go home. Make a turkey, get some mashed potatoes, get some sauce, cranberry sauce. Have time with the family. You want to spend time with me and Jamie and Tackle Box Props, by all means. But enjoy your Thanksgiving with the family.
No. Tonight is the biggest party night of the year. It actually beats out like St. Patrick's Day and New Year's Eve. Everyone's out partying, so why not party with us, man?
I'm just teasing, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight, getting all these picks in, getting these last minute bets for Turkey Day, for Turkey Day weekend, what have you. But yeah, like Ferris Bueller says at the end of the movie, you watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Hey, go home. Watch us, enjoy us, check out RPO Network, check out Jamie, check out Tackle Box, but go home, enjoy time with the family here. I'm really enjoying these bets so far. Is that everything on the Cowboys?
Do you have any more defensive IDP stuff?
Nope, not no, not on that game. I don't.
All right, so I mean, this is going to be such an exciting game. We're seeing Cooper Rush versus Drew Lock. Come on now. Now, usually on Thanksgiving we like to eat turkey, right? But I think a lot of us are going to be seeing lamb. Lamb's going to eat. He's
nice pun, Jamie. You set that up.
He's going to be peppered with targets. all game long. They're just going to pepper him with targets, man. His line's only 69.5. 69. I'll take the over on that all day. Also, give me a lamb anytime touchdown. Like, let him cook on Thanksgiving. Like, who needs turkey when we have lamb?
Like it.
That just seems like an easy line to go over on.
Right.
Another one I do like is Rico Dowdle. Like, Giants are horrible versus running backs, right? But Dowdle's line, it was 68.5, and I hit the under on that yesterday. And I looked today, and it's at 65.5. So it went down on DraftKings. So I'm still taking the under because he's only covered his over 33% of the time this year. Like, I'm only projecting about 50 yards, maybe even less than 50 yards. He's only seeing about 50 to 60% of snaps on the year. I think he went over 66 yards 3 times. So it's odds are he's gonna go under. Like, I know the Giants, they allowed running backs. Again, I think it was like 117 yards per game, but with him splitting with whoever it's going to be, maybe Zeke gets some run, but I just don't see it happening. So I'm taking the under on 65.5. But my favorite play of the game is Neighbors, man. Yesterday, I took the over on 5.5 receptions. I looked today, and they raised it to 6.5. But guess what? I'm still taking the over because he averages 7.5 per game. The last time they played the Cowboys, I believe he had like 12 targets. I can't remember his catches, but he blew this out of the water. So, yeah, definitely take the over. And let's see, there's one more I had. The Neighbor, 61.5 yards. It got changed to 68.5 today. And again, I'm still taking the over. So I'm doubling down. Like, yesterday, I took the 61.5 with the 5.5 receptions over. I put a bet in today for the 6.5, and I'm taking the 68.5 yards over because I think he's going to at least get 70 to 80. No problem. He could even hit 100. And that's all I got for this game.
I'm going to circle back. There's a couple players that I like that I'm hoping for lines on in this game, but there isn't any right now. So I'll mention them quick too. One would be Micah Parsons. He does have a sack line, which I do think he'll get a sack, but I believe it was minus 145 or so. I'm interested to see if they post a tackle line for him. Last week, he had a line of 3.5. And if he has that again, I think I like the over. The Giants have given up, the 4th most tackles to edge rushers this year. And they have allowed 14 different edge rushers to go over 3.5. in 11 games. And I would think if any edge rusher is going to do it for the Cowboys, it's going to be Micah. So that's one I'm looking at. And then another one I'm looking at, hoping to get, is Donovan Wilson under 5.5 tackles. I really thought he would have a better year. Yeah, but he's just not a big tackle guy.
And that kills me, Pat. That kills me because, like, I like to take my DL elites and my linebackers early. At the end of drafts, I like these defensive backs, and he was a target of mine. You look at his stats; it's so spotty all over the place.
Yep, and last week they started rotating Wanye Thomas in for him on some obvious passing downs, so his snap share dropped a little bit. So we're looking into that here and hoping that we can get a 5.5 total for him. But if not, so be it.
We're getting peppered in this chat, guys. I'm wiping my brow full of sweat. I'm loving it. I love all these answers. Again, it's great to have different takes, but we got one more question here. In my league of record, they need 2 linebackers. You got Deion Henley, Jose Jewell, Blake Cashman, Jordan Brooks. So give me 2 out of those 4. I'm going to do this one real fast, I'll kick it back to you guys. 3 of those guys, I have them in like the 20, 25 kind of category. There's really only one in my heart and soul that I feel is a fringe tier 1, back in tier 2. And I've been kind of jumping them up ahead of guys that are more commonly ranked, which you already know the answer. So the first one is Deion Henley to me. Okay, I have him ranked this week top 15. So he's right on the fringe. But let me tell you why. Not only is he 100% linebacker, there's nobody threatening him for a role, not the rookie in Colson, not the veteran in Perryman. He's 100% linebacker. In the last 5 games, while he's had 100% snap, and the last 5 games, he's had 400% snap counts, but he's had 58 tackles in 5 games. So, he's the guarantee. He's the truth for me. The other ones are very, very close together. Dealer's choice on the Jewell, the Cashman, the Brooks. If you put a gun to my head, please don't. But if you put a gun to my head and we had to pick one of those guys, I would probably go Brooks because, this whole season, he's a 100% guy. He has a role. Cashman's not threatened by anybody. Jewell's not threatened by anybody. But Brooks is the guy. He's always there in that spot. Whether he's wearing a green dot or not, you know what he's going to produce. Guys, do you have it different than Henley and Brooks? And if you do, I still love you anyway, and I'm still going to have my turkey tomorrow.
Henley is definitely number 1. The other guys are close, but I think Brooks has the better shot at getting to that top 12.
Yeah, it's overall. A good question.
So, yeah, I would go Henley and Brooks.
Gotcha. I'm with you, too. Same exact 2 on my end. I think Jewell's a clear 4th here with the matchup against Tampa Bay. So, who is the Henley, Brooks, Jewell, and who else?
We had
Cashman. Yeah, I don't mind Cashman this week either, but I think, if you're looking for a big game, Cashman always has a little bit of sack upside. Flores likes to blitz him every so often, but if you are looking for tackles, I think it's Jordan Brooks.
Love it.
I think we got all the questions. What other games do we have on this Thursday
we got the
night?
Packers Dolphins.
Okay.
Yeah, for this one actually does have my model's favorite play, and it's kind of an obscure one, but we're going to talk about it anyway. And it likes Rashawn Gary over 2.5 tackles.
Ooh,
okay. He only plays about 65% of the snaps, but the Dolphins are a pretty good matchup for edge rushers. They actually top 5, and they're giving up 10.2 tackles per game to the position, and they've allowed at least 1 edge rusher to go over that total in every game except for 1 this year. The reason I haven't projected at 3 tackles. So it's not like he's clearing the line with ease, but it's actually plus 140 on Bet365, plus 135 on a couple other sites. So the model's really digging it at the plus money. And then On top of that, the other play it likes in this game is, well, we talked about it earlier, Jevin Holland, under 5.5 tackles.
Yeah.
It's juiced a little bit, but he's only cleared that once, so it's definitely worth looking into to me. I haven't made any official plays on any of these yet, so we'll see where it goes, but I'm hoping to see a few more lines pop up tomorrow before I decide what I'm actually going to bet on. But, I mean, history from this year at least says Jevin Holland isn't going to get 5.5. And I have a feeling we're going to see quite a bit of Josh Jacobs tomorrow too. So if Josh Jacobs is getting to the third level, Holland gets there. But if not, I like our chances at getting under 5.5.
I like them. I like all those. I think they'll all hit. You're going to get it 100% right on this one.
We'll see.
So on the offensive side of the ball, I got a lot for this one. So bear with me real quick. I'll get through these quick. Kraft over line's only 32.5 yards. Now here's why, because the Dolphins versus receivers are pretty elite, right? They only allow like 125 yards per game to receivers. With Jalen Ramsey, that's not surprising. However, versus tight ends, they allowed back-to-back games over 100 yards the past 2 weeks, and that's to the Patriots and the Raiders. So I'm willing to put a bet on Kraft going over 32.5 yards. Same side of the ball, I do like Josh Jacobs. You mentioned him. His line 74.5 rushing. I'm taking the over on that. Dolphins are allowing 92.7 per game to running backs. Especially with teams playing on Thanksgiving, you have to remember it's a short week to prepare. It's probably going to be bad weather, which means like it's going to be a simple game plan. So I'm generally taking like the easier route and taking over on the running backs in these type of games. I'm also going to take a Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown. Do love that. Then we got Jonnu Smith, man. Remember, Steve, like 5-6 weeks ago, I said Jonnu Smith, number 1 waiver wire pickup. Dude, he's going to start every week.
So fun fact with that one. I play in the Kings Classic tackle box down in Ohio, at the Hall of Fame. And you're not getting anything off waiver wires. It's like 36 rounds. And I'm like, Jamie, give me a little – I need offense. I need 2 points out of a tight end. And, tight end is so flaky this year. He's like, Jonnu Smith is still out there? I'm like, yeah, this guy's a bum. This is like week 3 or 4. And then all of a sudden, that magic touch of yours – boom, presto, just been going off this every single week. So thank you for my Jonnu Smith shares.
Anytime. So, but this week, so Jonnu, since Tua's been back, he's been seeing the highest target share, and his receiving yards just seem way too low on these bets. So it's 46.5 over easily, man. Like, I'm willing to go up and juice it up to like 60 to 70 on the alts for the plus odds. Also taking Jonnu over 4.5 receptions, because the Packers, they're allowing 5.5 the tight ends per game, but they're not seeing athletic tight ends like Jonnu. So take the over on the 46.5, over on 4.5 receptions for Jonnu. Then A-Chain, Packers allow on average 92.7 yards per game to rushers. 6 out of 11 games, they allowed over 100 yards. A-Chain sees the majority of snaps lately in that backfield. So give me the over on his 55.5 rushing yards. That seems way too low. 55.5. That's crazy. I got a bonus one here. So Romeo Doubs is going to be out, right? Last time we seen Wicks without one of the other pass catchers, Wicks had a 28% target share. With Jalen Ramsey on either Watson or Reed, most likely in this game, that's going to leave Wicks against the weaker side coverage. His line is only 39.5 yards. So I'm willing. If you don't want to risk it, just add the alternative 25 plus to a parlay just to juice your parlay. He's definitely going to get 25 plus, but I'm willing to risk that 39.5. And that's all I got for the game right there.
You mentioned Jalen Ramsey too, and I did like his under on tackles in this game, but
they're just going to avoid him.
Right.
It was 4.5, and of course, before we come on the show, it moved down to 3.5. So that's why I didn't mention it. But yeah, I mean, if I could have gotten 4.5, I would probably been taking that today too.
I love it.
We had a fellow podcaster jump on. He said, "Love the show. Keep doing what you're doing." Kind of a double message here. They're asking about Devin White as an LB2. I'm gonna jump on this real quick. Two places I want to show the audience where they can find me here. Over at the Fantasy Six Pack, we got award-winning rankings over there too. Joe Bond's the number 1 offensive ranker in Fantasy Pros last week. I'm the number 3 defensive ranker this week. We do it together back and forth, but he's doing an all-time 48% user code Black Friday special. I don't think they've ever done that. That much off. Anyway, I wrote about this over there, so you can check out that work there. Another place I like to write, as I said, the RPO Football Network. I'm pretty proud of this. Patrick got his betting over here, but I do the every down linebacker article where you could actually, it gives me time, it gives me freedom to, Leo lets me write all of these stats, and I cover every single position. You can get all your linebacker needs because we know linebacker is the most important position out there in most of our leagues. But I'll just spoil it for you now. Devin White, two games ago, kind of got to play the third, fourth quarter work. Last week it shifted with Azeez Al-Shaair coming back, 100% snaps, every down linebacker, LB1. Henry To'o, if I'm saying it right, Henry To'o came back to reclaim his LB2 status. He had 94% snaps. Devin White just got 25% snaps. And we may or may not see Christian Harris on the horizon. They keep saying, Patrick, that Christian Harris is coming back. I don't know if he had a setback, but he's predicted to come back week 15 now. I don't plan on using Devin White anywhere unless it's the deepest of formats. And even then, I'm a little hesitant. 25%, no thank you. So, yeah, drop Devin White if you have him. You can probably find something better somewhere. Thoughts, guys?
Agreed. Yeah, I think 2 weeks ago, in that game, I think To'o blew a couple coverages, and then he found his way to the bench. But clearly a learning – what do I want to say, game for him. Go to the bench, and then he's back. I was watching that closely last week too. Was looking to see if To'o had a tackle line, and they never put one up. But
I don't know what people's fascination is with Devin White. I didn't want nothing to do with him. Jamie, remember down at the Kings Classic, you had a fellow podcaster analyst telling you to go take Devin White. I'm telling you, take this guy, same tier, Eric Kendricks or Devin White. It looks kind of foolish right now, but you know what side I was on versus that. Yep. You remember that story?
I remember that. Yep. And I think we won that side.
Yeah, I'm going to say, because we're going a little long on this podcast, and any offense sit starts along with IDP, go ahead and check out Jamie's start sit over at the Going for Two Sunday morning. So yeah, go ahead and, like I said, just save all those or leave them in the chat. And then after this podcast is over, I'll come back in and I will update that, whatever. Guys, what else do you got here? What games do you have?
We got the Friday game. We got the Chiefs versus the Raiders. So it's the best team in the NFL versus the worst team in the NFL. So what do you got for your defensive side of the ball?
I did not look at that one yet, so you're putting me on the spot here.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead while you're looking. I'll go over mine. I don't have much for this game, honestly. Obviously, I'm going to take the Chiefs minus 13. I just don't think the Raiders can keep up with them. I'm taking the Kelsey anytime touchdown. It's his turn. Noah Gray's been lucky the past 2 weeks. We got Kelsey. He needs to impress his husband, Taylor Swift. So
Why'd
it's
you
a
have
holiday
to? We were
weekend.
so
Like,
civil this podcast. Why'd you have to go there?
but no, going off of that though, the Raiders, they are third worst against tight ends. Kelsey, his line's only 53.5 receiving yards. I'm going over on that, and I'm taking that anytime Kelsey touchdown. Then you got on the other side, you got another elite tight end, Brock Bowers. Chiefs, they're the fourth worst versus guarding the tight ends. His line is 60.5 receiving yards. I'm taking over on that. Besides the tight ends, I don't really want to bet anything else. Like as of today, when I looked at DraftKings, there are no rushing props for this game. But when they do pop up, just take the under yards for the Raiders running backs. It's going to be probably Amir Abdullah, Dylan Lobby. Just take the under because Chiefs are number one versus the running backs, allowing on average 53 yards per game. So I don't see backup third tier running backs getting past that 53 yards. They only also gave up 6 rushing touchdowns to running backs all year. So if you can take under on the rushing touchdowns for the running backs, take the under. Then you got Kareem Hunt and Pacheco. Pacheco's back. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I'm only expecting 30% to Pacheco, maybe 40. But I'm staying away from the Chiefs running backs betting wise until we see it for a couple weeks. And then once we get a couple weeks of data, then we'll make a bet on that backfield.
Agreed. I would definitely be staying away from Chiefs running backs.
Yeah.
Yep. Unless they come out with some insanely high lines and you can hit an under on them, but I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like a 40, 50 yards, take the under. Because like I said, they only allow 53 per game all year long.
So we got a message in the chat from Infinite Number of Monkeys. Great job, guys. Happy Turkey Day. I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate your friendship. Infinite Number of Monkeys is over there on the IDP Center. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Well, Jamie, you're in the Discord with me too. Over at the IDP Center. It's kind of one of my sponsors, so I kind of put them on every show, Pat. They got a slew of stuff over there. Not only do they have a Discord, they have free leagues, they have money leagues, they have best ball drafts, they have all kinds of stuff going on. I kind of like that trade calculator they got because it's for any kind of formats. You know, if you go over to this site, I'm in the Discord. Infinite Number of Monkeys is in that Discord. We got Aiden, our fearless leader, is in that Discord. It's a fun site. They're running a promo code. Type in IDP Hunter, get an additional 10% off. They do custom league analysis for everyone who's a member. We're talking 12-page reports of dynasty reports, redraft reports, youth charts, all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's not really expensive either. Again, 10% off, type in IDP Hunter. Join the Discord today over there. So, I have that sponsor. And then the other sponsor I have here is Brainy Ballers. They're kind of cool, man. If you want a mini helmet with your own design, you can type in IDP Hunter 15. You'll save an additional 15% off. The website's kind of cool. I'm kind of wanting to get a little tackle box prop one made myself. Look at this. Look at all these beautiful different little helmets that you can get. These guys are kind of neat. I met them on the Discord. Again, I don't know. You probably see it. Jamie, I'm tempted to take this down to King's Classic, but I don't want nobody to smash my my IDP Hunter helmet over here in the corner, But yeah, they make these over here. Very beautiful design. You guys got any more bets this show?
I think I hit all mine. I do want to shout out the IDP Center because every time someone asks me a trade question about IDP, I just hop over there because they incorporate the offensive players along with the IDP players.
Yeah.
And it gives you a true kind of like a scenario of what the values are worth. And a lot of people don't have that. They don't know about that. So let's get this out there.
I just want to appreciate them. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate RPO Fancy Six Pack. I'm very thankful and grateful during the holidays. And last but not least, I appreciate you, Pat, coming on this show. For those that are just tuning in, this is Tackle Box Props over there on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. He's the director of betting operations, RPO Football. He's been doing this for 2 years professionally, and he's got a really good batting average. If you're in the betting game, even if you're not, these are very good analysis. You're in the Discord as well on RPO Football. I appreciate your friendship, sir. I hope you had fun on this show. Would you come back on?
For sure. Thanks for having me. And like I said, anytime we got some tackle props to talk about, I'm game to come on and talk about them.
Yeah, so. That's what I want to hear. I was going to ask, is there anything you're promoting right now? And tell the audience where they could find you.
I don't have anything to promote other than I keep it simple. I'm in really 2 places to find me, whether it's in the RPO Discord, where I'm the most active, or on Twitter at Tacklebox Props. I'm not as active on Twitter as I used to be, but I'm still there, so you can find me.
Jamie, any closing thoughts?
I just want to thank everyone for joining us for this Thanksgiving episode.
A lot on here.
Filled with food, football, and a little friendly roasting. So as the turkey settles and the games unfold, we'll see which players truly carve up the competition. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.
Nice. Love it. You keep watching. We'll keep listening and talk hard.